right, so today I'm going to do a real quick video. I'm going to follow up on my video about deception. Actually, I've done a couple of them, including the last video on blasphemy. And I know it doesn't sound like a very interesting title, but really I hope that you'll watch that video and I hope you will share it with other people, because what is coming is so deceptive. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what Satan has planned to try to deceive Christians, if possible, even the elect, okay, even believers. That's why God has given us the book of Revelation, that if we look at it and we, really dive into it, we can kind of dig out some of these ways that Satan is going to try to deceive people. One of the big ways I didn't even mention, okay, and I want to thank one of my subscribers for bringing this to my attention. So I'm just going to kind of paraphrase what the question they asked is, how can Christians be deceived about, this fake second coming where the beast rises from the dead and, does this fake Armageddon? I mean, people are really going to be killed. A third of the earth, the population of the earth is going to die. But people who know the scriptures are going to go, yeah, but Jesus comes with, thousands of angels and with, his people. And so there's going to be this person who comes from heaven with a bunch of angels. Okay. And I started thinking, well, yeah, that's true. But, Satan has a counterfeit. And what is his counterfeit? Jesus coming back with a bunch of angels? Well, that's when he gets cast out of heaven. Satan gets cast out of heaven just prior to the day of the abomination of desolation. He is going to be cast out of heaven at the end of, basically what's the 10 days of tribulation for believers at the hands of the harlot. Okay, the hands of the harlot, who is not the beast. Remember, the beast hates the harlot, and he's going to throw her off at the sixth trumpet. God has put it into his heart and into the heart of the 10 kings, who are going to join together with 4 angels who've been bound at the river Euphrates and a 200 million man army, plus, all of these angels who've just been cast out of heaven, plus the angels from the pit. Okay, they're all going to be here. A third of the world is going to die. Not everyone, but a third will die. This is going to look like the second coming of Christ. There's going to be angels disguised as angels of light, fallen angels, and Satan himself, who's going to accept the worship of the world as though he were God the Father. He doesn't want to be the Antichrist. His false son is going to be the Antichrist, who is a man, and only a man can rule the earth, because the earth was given to man, and Apollyon, the spirit that from the bottomless pit, is going to indwell this resurrected man. All right, so what does this look like on a timeline? If the Feast of Trumpets is late this year, which I think that there's probably a pretty good case that can be made for that, because it sort of needs to fall after the equinox. Okay, so if we had a October 7th, 8th, something around there for the beginning of a Feast of Trumpets this year, and Israel goes into a war right around that same time, or maybe just a little later, up until, Day of Atonement, there has to be a war in Israel. Okay, and I even said this last year. This is what I've always said. I have always said this. There cannot be a rapture unless Israel goes to war. The woman must go into travail before the child can be born and caught up to God and to his throne. Right? That word is harpazo. The child will not be harpazoed to God and his throne in heaven until the woman goes into travail. The woman is Israel. Okay, it's the woman who will flee into the wilderness. It's the remnant of Israel who's going to flee into the wilderness. That's how we know it's Israel. Okay, so Israel is going to have travail or a war before any rapture can take place. I've always said this. This is something I've always held to, even last year. Okay, so there has to be a war. If there is a war this fall in Israel, right around the Feast of Trumpets, and, very close to it, then I would expect that there would be a rapture as well. But the rapture is going to be over the Feast of Tabernacles. It's not during the Feast of Trumpets. I'm going to talk about this on the next video. A lot of people are very confused about what the Feast of Trumpets is all about, and I would like to set people straight, okay, from what I see in the Bible. And of course, You don't have to agree with me. This is my understanding. These are my thoughts. I hope I'm being led by the Spirit, but everybody needs to test this stuff for themselves. Okay, we're all called to be Bereans. We're all called to look into the Word of God. We're all called to where we need to have our personal relationship with God at work, where He lets us know or gives us discernment about things. All right, so there's a lot of people who've kind of been bringing up the idea of dates, that if we know that when the Day of Atonement is in a certain year, we can just sort of subtract, go backward, and find out when these other events are going to take place that we read about in the book of Revelation. This is something that I've been doing for a while. Now, personally, I don't believe in a 7-year tribulation the way people teach it, where we have 7 years of the wrath of God. I don't think that's the case. There isn't 7 years of the wrath of God. And if you're interested in how I look at this, I hope you'll look at a video I've entitled God's Peace Plan, and also a video about debunking the 7-year tribulation, or 7 years of wrath. There aren't 7 years of wrath. There's only a few months, perhaps, of the wrath of God. And the wrath of God is tied up in the bowls of wrath, preceded by the 6th and 7th trumpet, which are an indication that the bowls of wrath are about to start. If Israel only has 3.5 years left on their timeline, they can have anywhere from the second coming of Christ being at 2025 up through 2028, which means a rapture can happen anytime for believers up through 2024. So we have to subtract the 3.5 years right here where the woman is in the wilderness. The abomination of desolation is here. And this is when Jesus said that when you see the abomination of desolation, take note. Okay, look in the book of Daniel. And that if you're in Judea, you're going to need to flee. Okay, we know from Revelation 12 that the woman is going to be in the wilderness, flee into the wilderness for 1,260 days. That's going to coincide with the reign of the beast. Okay, 42 months, same amount of time. Okay, so if we have the second coming on the Day of Atonement in October of 2025, you subtract 1,260 days and you'll arrive at the day of the abomination of desolation, which in this case will be April 23rd of 2022. Okay, that's next year, right? April 23rd of 2022. This is the same day that the 6th trumpet sounds. This is when the harlot is destroyed. This is that hour, day, month, and year that God has preordained to destroy the harlot. With fire, smoke, and sulfur, a 200 million man army, 4 angels who are released from the river Euphrates, the 10 kings, and the beast, and all kinds of other entities are going to kill 1/3 of mankind at the 6th trumpet. This is, the harlot is going to be destroyed. This is the Babylonian system that we've been living under since the Tower of Babel. Okay, yeah. People are starting to call it the New World Order, but this is an old world order. It's been around since forever. There's nothing new about it. It's the same system that we've been living under. Okay. Also, this is the same day that the 2 witnesses are going to ascend in heaven. All right, they ascend into heaven. Count back 3.5 days. They're going to lie dead. And you'll arrive at first fruits. This is the day that they are killed by the beast. The beast who ascends from the bottomless pit is going to kill them. Okay, that's the beast that lets us know that Apollyon is a part of this. Okay, and we're working backward here. So the 2 witnesses are going to be killed here. They're going to rise here. The beast will be 42 months reigning, and then Jesus will come back. Okay. Passover is when the beast is going to die. Okay, he's going to mimic Christ. He's going to die on this day here, and I believe it's the 2 witnesses who are going to kill him. April 16th of 2022, if the second coming is in 2025. And remember, it could be in 2025, 26, 27, or 28. Okay, we've got a number of years to choose from. This template is always going to work. The abomination will always be 1,260 days before the Day of Atonement. First fruits is always 3.5 days before that, and Passover is right here. Okay, so this template is always going to work. Our version of Palm Sunday, I believe, is when this beast is going to really come on the scene as the Christ, as the person who is meant to be received as the Christ. and he's going to be killed on Passover. This Palm Sunday is 8 days before first fruits. Okay, and then there's going to be 10 days of tribulation where the harlot is going to kill Christians. Okay, this 10 days starts here on April 8th and will go up until first fruits right here. It's 10 days. The same 10 days, I believe, is the amount of time that the war in heaven is going to take place. Okay, so the war in heaven is going to be 10 days long. This is when Michael fights Satan, the dragon, and his angels. They're going to be cast out right here on first fruits. Okay, now let's think about this. The beast is going to be killed here. He's going to rise from the dead on first fruits. The dragon is going to be cast out of heaven and stand on the sand of the sea. He's standing at the place waiting for his false son to rise from the sea of death. That's what's going to happen right here. The beast from the sea, the one with 7 heads and 10 horns, is going to rise from the sea of death. And now Apollyon has also indwelt him. Okay, the 5th trumpet happened along back here somewhere where the pit was opened. When Christ returns right here on the Day of Atonement in some year, and if it's, if Rapture is this year, 2025, he'll return. He's going to come with all his hosts of heaven, bunches of angels. We know that's how the second coming is going to look. The beast has to have his version of it too, and he is going to cleverly disguise his defeat in heaven as Christ coming with the angels. He's going to disguise it that way. The beast will die right here. He's going to rise from the dead here. Satan is going to be cast out of heaven here with his angels, who will have been disguising themselves as angels of light. Okay, a resurrected Christ, this host of heaven showing up on the earth, and it'll look like the second coming of Christ. Okay, this beast is going to have blasphemous names on his heads, which are the names of Christ. Okay, to blaspheme is to call evil good and good evil, and to exchange the truth for a lie. So he's going to say that he's the Christ. He's going to kill the harlot. Okay, the harlot is the one who was drunk with the blood of the saints. That is never attributed to the beast. That is never attributed to the beast. It's the harlot. The system that we're under right now, this world system that's present right now and pushing an agenda, is the one that is going to kill Christians. Now, Satan wants us to think that it's the beast that's doing this, but the beast will not have come on the scene until this false Christ arrives, dies, and rises from the dead, and Satan and his minions are cast out of heaven, disguising themselves as the second coming of Christ, when he comes with all his crowns and all these angels with him. This is so diabolical and so deceptive. It's almost hard to imagine that Satan is going to take these things that God is doing and twist them for his own purposes. Satan wants to be worshipped as God the Father. His false son, the Antichrist, the beast who rises from the sea of death, is going to be the king on the whole earth. He's going to have his false millennium for 42 months. He's going to get himself ready for the real second coming of Christ. In the bowl judgments, we read that there are 3 foul spirits like frogs that come out of the mouth of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet, and that they're going to they're going to deceive people to come to Armageddon to battle the Lord. And for whatever reason, however they describe it, it's going to be something like, the bad guys are returning, because everything is going to be flipped. Now, this deception that the Antichrist is the Christ is going to be really good, with all these angels that look like the host of heaven arriving, Satan coming to earth pretending that he's God the Father, the beast rising from the dead, even though the 2 witnesses, I believe, are the ones who are going to kill him, because anyone who comes against them, remember, is going to die. And if the beast comes against the 2 witnesses, he's going to kill him. He's going to kill this beast. I mean, there's a war that's going on this whole time. Okay, there is a war that's happening. Lots of bloodshed. Lots and lots of bloodshed. This is part of the seal thing. Okay, the fifth seal. Martyrs will begin to die right here. And they'll be coming into heaven in, dead. And then once this Palm Sunday comes, they'll begin receiving their white robes and waiting a little while until the rest of their brethren come in. And by first fruits, they're all going to be standing there with palm branches in their hands. They'll all be in their resurrected bodies. This is the same day, too, that the 144,000, I believe, are raptured into heaven. Okay, it's the end of 8 days. So they're going to have their 7 days. And then on the 8th day is when they're taken into heaven, too. They're going to know when they're going. In a rapture event. And we see them in Revelation 14 standing on heavenly Mount Zion. Okay, so there's a timeline for all these events and when they take place. And the deception that's coming into the world is so unbelievable. It's like, I'm astounded. And how Satan is going to take the things that Christ is going to do, he's going to have his version of them and pawn them off as the real thing. And this is going to be very confusing. There are going to be Christians here at that time who are going to wonder what on earth is going on. This man rises from the dead. He looks like a good guy. He kills the harlot who's been killing us. He must be the Christ. That must be the Christ. All these angels are here on earth. This must be the second coming. We saw all those angels coming. This must be the second coming of Christ. Okay? And that's when the 3 angels are going to be sent out saying, worship God the Creator only. Babylon has fallen. Okay? 6th trumpet. Babylon has fallen. And don't take the mark of the beast. Don't worship the image of the beast. Because that's what people are going to do. And even Christians are going to be fooled by this. And, I'm just saying this right now, that people are being fooled right now. Christians are being fooled right now into thinking that we're living in the time of the reign of the beast. That certain things that are being done to people are the mark of the beast. That genetic alterations is the image of the beast, and that all this is here right now, that the Pope is the false prophet and all this stuff. This is all wrong. This is all a deception. This is all smoke and mirrors designed to get us to think that by the time this guy comes on the scene, that we've already had the mark of the beast, we've already had the false prophet, all of that is over and done, and now it's time for the second coming of Christ, and here's this hosts of heaven showing up on earth as, angels of light and putting to death that New World Order system that killed all the Christians. Oh, it's diabolical. It's amazingly diabolical. Anyway, I hope you'll share this video. I know if you haven't been following my channel, it's going to be difficult to follow, but get my timeline templates. Everything is in there. And, all the scriptures and everything. So, and I know a lot of people think I'm really whacked out here, but I don't think so. I think this is all extremely plausible, and we can find all of it in the book of Revelation. Okay, it's all there. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the Feast of Trumpets on my next video. So I hope you'll come back to my channel, take a look at that video. Hope you'll leave a comment in the comments section. Until the next time, I pray you'll have a very, very blessed day.